What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome to the No Horsing Around podcast. Today, we're going to be covering what I think Chris Ballard will do ultimately at the quarterback position. This is not what I would do. This is what I think Chris Ballard is going to do. I'm going to try to climb inside of his mind, see where he's at. So before you guys kill me and just light me up in the comments, which is fine, know that this is what I think that Ballard ultimately will do. I put a lot of thought into it this week as far as what I think, where's his mind at? Where's he going to go? So I'll kind of start from the top and kind of work my way through, the way that I feel like that he's doing that. Before we get started, I'd like for you to ask of you guys to like, rate, review, share, subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, we're literally 21 people away from our ultimate goal of 1,000 subscribers, and we're just so thankful for you guys. So I just want to take a quick second and say thank you, Colts Nation, for always being a part of us and supporting us as you have, and we'll celebrate that 1K and try to do something special. So let's start with Chris Ballard and what I think that he will do. Ultimately, when you look at Russell Wilson, you look at Aaron Rodgers, you look at Kyler Murray, you look at these Derek Carr, seems like Kirk Cousins is staying put. I think when it's all said and done, I don't think there's a move to be made there. I don't think you can make that move. I think Russell Wilson in a situation where you could just offer something where you could just blow the doors out. But that being said, Pete Carroll, I don't know that he wants to be in a rebuild mode. I think maybe you lose your quarterback and your coach in that situation. There's a lot to think about. And I think when it's all said and done, it's just so hard to get a quarterback in the NFL and to let one go who's probably got another 5, 6, 7 years. It's going to be a tough one, guys. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's knocking right now as we're talking. And I hope I wake up tomorrow morning and Russell Wilson is the Colts quarterback, but I don't think that's going to happen. So that got me thinking, what's going to happen? Like what can you do? Obviously you could trade for Jimmy G if you want to. A lot of people think it's a lateral move. I think it's a lateral move in a sense of just like complete skill set. But I do think Jimmy is a moderate upgrade over Carson Wentz personally. I think you can count on Jimmy being a little more consistent, probably reading those progressions a little bit better, a little bit more accurate quarterback, and he's proven that he can win football games. It's not always the prettiest, but maybe in our situation right now, maybe that's a brand of football that Chris Ballard and Frank Reich want to play. But today, my prediction is I think they will go into the free agency route. And I actually think that they're going to sign Jameis Winston as their next quarterback. I know people right now are thinking, what in the hell, Zach, are you talking about? And here's why. I'm going to tell you, quite frankly, we don't have a lot of draft capital. So one guy you can sign in this situation where you don't have to give up a lot of draft capital. You have to give any of it up. You're going to get him on a year where he was 5-2 before he was injured. He was playing well in that Saints system. It's not going to cost a lot of money to do a 1-year flyer on him. Super boomer bust type of guy that you would bring in. We'll get into that in just a second, but just the mindset of Ballard where you don't have to give any assets away. You can sign your guy. Still gives you the flexibility to draft a guy this year if you want to do that, or gives you the opportunity to have a guy who's very, very good moving forward and even use him as a trade chip, a lot like the 49ers did with when they had Trey Lance and Jimmy G. Well, now they're going to get something for Jimmy G and still have their guy. So that'll be very interesting to see how they handle that in the short term. Guys, when we look at, what's to like and what's not to like about Jameis, first and foremost, what's not to like about him, the interceptions, right? Like he set the NFL record for interceptions in a season. But that being said, he's the ultimate opposite of Carson Wentz. He's a huge competitor. He lacks zero confidence. He believes he can make every single throw. And that being said, sometimes that's led to his demise in the past. Let's not forget this guy threw for, I think, 5,000 yards in his last year as a full-time starter. That's not easy to do, man. I mean, that's slinging the football, and I know his attempts were way up. But he is the kind of guy, when he throws an interception, he just comes right back and does it again. He's going to go after it. He's not going to back down in big games. You're not going to have to worry about him, not caring if he wins and loses. I think he cares a whole lot. And inside the right structure, inside the right system, maybe Frank Reich can kind of tailor his style and say, hey, listen, we know you want to use your big arm, but let's only use it 3 or 4 or 5 times a game. Let's not use it 30 times a game. He had a game this year where I think he threw less than 20 times and had 5 touchdowns. I mean, that is super efficient when you talk about a quarterback and maturing and turning around in that Sean Payton system. I don't think it's going to cost you a whole lot of money to bring a guy like that in. There's not going to be a huge market. I think Jameis would be served best to be on a football team that has a good run game, but additionally has good pieces around him. The better he looks on a 1-year deal, the better he would be, in the future for that chance to maybe come back and get another deal, an actual real deal. I mean, let's not forget this guy was the first pick in the NFL draft. There are tools. He's a national champion. He's played on the big stage. And he just wasn't on great teams, in Tampa. Going there, Saints looked like they were going to make the playoffs. They looked like they were on the right track before he got injured. Be very interested to see what he can do in a full, complete season with a good coaching staff, a solid defense. Teams are not going to put him in bad, desperate situations where he's just chucking the football around and playing from behind. An incredible, incredible competitor. I think that's something that the Colts really lacked this year and missed this year. You go from having Phillip Rivers, who's just out of his mind as far as a competitor goes, to having Carson Wentz, who is just kind of nonchalant. You lose, you win, you win. I'm not going to say he wasn't happy. I'm not going to say he wasn't sad, but I'm going to say that it didn't really, you never got the feeling from Carson that ate him alive. And guys, I don't think there's any way at all that we bring Carson Wentz back. We've had multiple chances to endorse him and to step out there and for somebody to say something. Frank Reich, Chris Ballard, Jim Irsay, and not one of them have ever endorsed him. So he's either going to get traded or released, in my opinion. I don't see any way at all you could do anything differently when it comes to that. And I think there'll be a little bit of a trade market for Carson. If I'm Chris Ballard, I let the first, pin drop, and I let Jimmy G get settled somewhere, and then now I have the last viable, quarterback. Maybe I drive that price up. Now, look, he's going to have to pay some of Carson's salary this year if he wants to get a 2nd or 3rd round pick for Carson Wentz. No team's going to take that $28 million on if they have to give up a lot of draft capital as well. We're going to have to eat some of it regardless. So we might as well, I expect at least the initial bonus of the $7 million for the Colts to still have to pay that, even if we trade them, to kind of lessen that blow. And Carson might go to a team that, is in win now mode, a team that doesn't feel like, hey, there's not our guy, there's not our quarterback in this draft, but we have a really good team. Or Washington is a team that I've thought about several times over this past week, just because they've always swung and missed. And I think they were in on him a little bit last time. It just didn't work out. They weren't quite willing to give up that much compensation. It looks like that there'll be a little bit of a market for a Carson Wentz. Regardless, I don't see him as day one starter in Indianapolis. Wouldn't be surprised if we drafted somebody this year, honestly, either, guys. I just think that in a year where you have to give up less to move up, when you don't have to move up into the top 5, you just have to move up probably into that front or back half of the first round to probably get your guy. We'll talk plenty about that down the road as free agency gets going. But yeah, that's my prediction. Jameis Winston will be the guy that I think that Chris Ballard goes after in targets, especially if everything fails and doesn't fall into his lap. He's not able to swing big and hit one of these guys. Let me know what you think. Light us up in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, thank you. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the family. And guys, we're going to celebrate 1K real soon, and it's all because of you. Thank you. I love you. Steven loves you, and we're out.